Hi, this is Maddie Anthus. I'm the Associate Director in the Center for Student Success, and this video is part of the Virtual Advisor Training Series. This video will show you how to use the Academic Requirements Report in PAWS. First, I want to establish why you can use the Academic Requirements page or Academic Requirements Report, depending on how you're referring to it. This page is program specific and shows what a student still needs in order to graduate. It shows what liberal learning requirements are still required, the student's cumulative and major GPA, transfer and elective credits that the student has earned credit for, and any major and minor requirements, all in one place. Like I said, it's program specific, so when a student is in a program, the page is tailored to their specific requirements. That also means that students without a major won't have an academic requirements page, and they will need to use a what-if report instead. In order to create an academic requirements report, you need to go to the Student Center. Advisors, you can get here by clicking the View Student Details link on your list of advisees. And students, you can get here by clicking Student Center when you log into PAWS. If you go to the left, you can click this dropdown and select Academic Requirements. It will then bring you to your academic requirements page. At the top, you can see academic information for the student, including their program, which is the school, plan, which is their major, dual majors, or any programs they're enrolled in, like the honors program. A subplan would be a specialization, and then the expected graduation for the student. It also tells you the degree program in which they're enrolled. I'm going to show you what each of these dark blue headings mean because these are the major components to the academic requirements page. The first one is this total units and GPA. This dropdown will show you the student's cumulative GPA. For example, this student has a 3.959. It also shows you all the courses they've taken that have contributed to this GPA. Underneath it is total units and in-progress coursework. This shows you how many units are required to graduate, how many they've taken, and how many they still need. In-progress coursework counts in this number of taken units. Also note that this number of units needed is just the number that you need in order to graduate, but not necessarily the number of courses that you need for the major. Underneath, if you click Total Transfer Units, you can see courses that have transferred from other institutions, and total test credit units are test credits that have transferred in. The next major heading is Civic Responsibilities and Proficiencies, which are two areas of liberal learning. Proficiencies are first, and it shows IDS 102, Writing 102, and First Seminar Program, the FSP. On the academic requirements page, if items are collapsed like these are, that means the student has already fulfilled them. If you want to see how a student has fulfilled this requirement, you can select the dropdown and it will show you when and how they fulfilled this. So for instance, this student took the writing placement exam and tested out of it. And they did their FSP in the fall of 2019. It shows you their grade and the description as well. Underneath proficiencies are civic responsibilities, which is another area of liberal learning. Their community engaged learning is collapsed, which means they fulfilled it, but you can see that gender, global perspectives, and race and ethnicity are all still expanded, so they still need to take courses in each of these areas. The last area of liberal learning is underneath this, and it's called breadth distribution, and it has been tailored to this student's school, so they are in the humanities and social sciences majors. There are 8 required courses for this area of liberal learning, and this student has taken 5. That means they still need 3. I cover liberal learning in a different video, so if you need clarification for how these work, make sure you review this. But for now, you can see that this breaks it down in a really easy to understand way. As I said, you can see where things are collapsed. So this student still needs a literary, visual, and performing arts course. And if the student wanted to see all the courses that they could use to fulfill it, they would click View Course List. Just know that these are courses that fulfill this requirement, but not necessarily courses that are currently being offered. It's just all courses that have been given this liberal learning component. Like I said, the academic requirements page is program specific, and sometimes major courses fulfill areas of liberal learning. For instance, for psychology, which is this student's major, all students have to take Psychology 203, which will fulfill quantitative reasoning. You can see that this student is currently in it and it has collapsed because of this. In progress courses will collapse the area as though you've already completed it. Scrolling down, the next area is the second language proficiency. Different majors have different requirements with languages, and the psychology major, which is this student's program, does have a second language proficiency requirement, so this student still needs to take their language courses. After that, there is a list of free electives. So these are courses that are not used for the major, minor, or liberal learning. These are just courses that will contribute to their overall total units that they need in order to graduate. These courses also contribute to their cumulative GPA. The next main component of the academic requirements page is the major. This is why the academic requirements page is really only useful for students who are in a major. Undesignated transitional students or undeclared students do not have a program in which they are enrolled, so they don't have major courses. This area is tailored to the student's major. For instance, the psychology major, the student needs 12 courses, they've taken 6, and they still need 6. The lighter blue headings are the different areas within a major. Different majors are constructed differently and have different areas in which students need to take courses. Students, make sure that you understand your curriculum for your major, and advisors, make sure you're directing your students to resources where they can learn about their major as well. For instance, there is a sequence of courses in the psychology major called the Psychology Core, and they're listed here. The student has taken 3 of these 4 courses, and it shows you which course the student still needs. In this case, there's also a minimum grade requirement. As I keep scrolling, you can see all the different components of the psychology major, and since these areas are expanded, the student still needs to take these courses in order to graduate with a psychology major. The psychology department also has an advising sequence. And then at the bottom, there's information called the major residency and the major GPA. Here's where you can see what this student's major GPA is, meaning that only courses within the major are counted in the GPA. The student has a 4.0 major GPA. The major residency is how many courses you need to take at TC&J in order to graduate from TC&J in that program. You need to take at least 7 of the 12 courses in your major at TC&J. That means courses that are not transferred in from another institution. The student has taken 6 and only needs 1 more in order to meet this major residency requirement. If your major has another limitation or requirement, that would show at the bottom as well. If this student had a minor, it would appear underneath the major. The minor would get a dark blue heading just like this, and similar to how this is constructed, it would have the requirements laid out with how many courses they need, and it would keep track of what they've taken. The academic requirement page can also be found if you go to Advising Tools. Students, there's a link to Advising Tools on the left-hand side of your Student Center, and advisors, there's a link for Advising Tools at the top menu in your advising page. On the left, you can see the What If report as well as academic requirements, and if you click View Advisement Report, that's the academic requirements page. That was a quick overview of the academic requirements page on pause. If you have more questions, more information can be found on the Records and Registration Advising Resources page, or you can email me at the email address on the screen. Advisors, you can schedule a one-on-one advising discussion with me, and my booking link is on the screen as well.